We spend pretty much a quarter of our lives scrolling through other people's photos online, and usually they are adorable pictures of pets, delicious captures of food, or face-tuned selfies taken by celebrities that make you feel inadequate. But every now and again, a photo goes viral for the opposite reasons. People don't want to look at these pictures because they make them feel happy. These photos you stare at to terrify yourself. Like an innocent snap taken at a party only to see a ghostly image of a little girl behind you and your friends. Or a suspicious red stain on a faraway tree in the background of a beautiful forest shot. The following movies have perfected the terrifying fear that we have all been victim to at some point, featuring unsettling and downright horrifying photographs that you cannot look away from. I'm Ellie for What Culture, and these are the 10 scariest photos taken in horror movie history. Number 10, is that me? I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a surreal, visually trippy and altogether disconcerting movie. It's also a movie that has divided audiences since its release, with a measly 49% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, yet an impressive 82% critic score. Considering this, it is also important to tell you that it is pretty much universally agreed upon that the first half of this movie is a masterpiece. The first part sees couple Jake and Lucy drive through the snow to visit Jake's parents for the first time, all while Lucy's inner monologue considers her urges to break up with Jake or end things. From the get-go, when they arrive, things seem off. Jake's parents, played superbly by Toni Collette and David Thewlis, are unnerving in their keenness, and the house feels strangely familiar to Lucy, and certain things seem to change before her very eyes. As Lucy is gazing bemusedly at family photographs on the wall, she comes across a picture of Jake as a child, only it doesn't really look like Jake. It looks like Lucy. But when she turns to ask Jake who it is, he jokingly says, "Can't you tell?" Confused and unsettled, she gazes back, and this time the image is very clearly of Jake. It's just one of the clever mind tricks the movie plays on Lucy and us, and it successfully adds to the creepy nature of the film. Number 9, that's not Nana and Pop Pop, The Visit. The Visit follows siblings Rebecca and Tyler as they go to stay with their estranged grandparents for a while. Because of a huge blow-up between their mum and her parents, the kids have never met them before, and so decide to film a documentary about the first time that they meet. The movie is in the found footage style, and it at first seems like an endearing look at a family reunion. But that facade doesn't last very long. Before the weirdness really gets going, Rebecca tours around the house, attempting to get B-roll and perspective on the grandparents. During a scene in which Nana is baking cookies, Rebecca inserts footage of a pinboard full of photos and memories from the grandparents' lives, with her voiceover stating innocently, "These are the people in Nana and Pop Pop's life." As the camera cuts back to Nana, you get a full shot of the board, but the photos are distant and blurry. Still, within that board though is a clue to the truth. Later on in the movie, after various disturbing events, the siblings beg their mum over video call to come pick them up immediately, showing the grandparents suspiciously standing around outside. That's when the other shoe drops. That's not Nana and Pop Pop. The reveal is punctuated with a clip showing a photograph from the board, the real Nana and Pop Pop. If only the siblings had looked just a little bit closer, a little bit earlier. Number 8, a ghostly piggyback ride, Shutter, 2004. Shutter, a Thai supernatural horror film, follows a young couple as they are haunted by the spirit of a young girl. After running over the girl late one night, Jane and Tun start to see a strange figure in the background of their photos, and Tun has to visit the doctor because of the severe neck and back pain he's experienced since the crash. While there, Tun is horrified to find out that he mysteriously weighs double the weight that he should. Because of the haunted photographs, Jane is led to a bookshelf where she finds hidden photos of the dead girl being abused by Tun's friends years ago while he took the photos. We find out Tun had dated the girl at college, and that after this event she had taken her own life, haunting Tun and his friends ever since. Jane obviously leaves Tun distraught by the revelation. Driven to the brink of insanity, Tun hectically takes photos all over his house trying to capture the girl. But it isn't until he drops the camera, accidentally taking a photo of himself in the process, that she reveals herself. In the photo, sitting atop of his shoulders, is the girl's spirit. And suddenly it all makes sense. The extra weight, the pain in his shoulders, the weight of his guilt quite literally got to him. Number 7, the ex's reveal, Get Out. The main couple in Get Out, black man Chris and white girl Rose, seem like the perfect couple. We believe their love and compassion for each other, and an early scene in the film where Rose rinses out a police officer for his racial biases showed us that she was acutely aware of the unfairness of society. As the motives of Rose's family become clearer, we are reassured with the knowledge that Rose has Chris's back. And when the climax of the film solidifies the terrifying fate coming Chris's way, we're relieved to know that both Chris and Rose are smart enough to leave and get the hell out of there. On his way out though, Chris notices that the little cupboard in Rose's bedroom has been opened, and inside is a little red box. Of course, Chris opens it to find a bunch of selfies of Rose and her ex-boyfriends. More specifically, they're all black men, even though Rose told Chris that she'd never dated a black man before him. Among these photos are her with 2 employees from her family's estate. It's a terrifying reveal that knocks everything you think you know off kilter, and leads to the huge twist that Rose was in on it the whole time. Number 6, I Can't Find My Phone, Hush. Hush is a brilliant home invasion movie that has an interesting wrinkle to the premise. The homeowner just happens to be deaf. It builds suspense amazingly and utilizes its incredibly small cast to perfection. It is a Mike Flanagan film though, so is any of this that shocking? While most home invasion movies choose to crank up the tension subtly and slowly, Hush goes about it in a very different way. While the first 10 minutes of the movie present a mundane day in the life of deaf author Maddie, the movie truly gets going when Maddie's neighbour is seen bloody and screaming at her door, desperately trying to get her attention until a masked assailant turns up and stabs her to death. Of course, Maddie doesn't see any of this and continues to go about her business as she attempts to write her novel. We then see the assailant inside her house, grabbing her phone off the countertop. While Maddie is on her laptop, she gets a message saying that her mobile has sent her a photo. And confused, she clicks on it to find several chilling photos of her walking around the house, taken from inside the house. You see the fear and realization solidify on her face as she notices her front door is wide open. Number 5, a moving picture, Sinister. There are many scares within the movie Sinister that have been ingrained into the psyche. Everyone remembers the lawnmower jump scare for better or worse, but it's a more subtle scare that we're going to reminisce about today. Ethan Hawke plays investigative novelist Ellison, a man who once published an extremely successful book that he since has been desperate to replicate. He, along with his wife and 2 children, move into a house previously owned by a family that was murdered. He believes that if he can solve the case of the family's murder and their missing child, he would prove his worth and achieve the same success again. In the loft of this house, Ellison finds an old movie projector and a bunch of Super 8 films. Each one of these films shows an innocent family getting murdered by someone taping the whole thing. They also show something even stranger, a creepy-looking figure watching the crimes. Ellison manages to capture the image of the creature and blow it up on his computer. And this is where the scare comes in. Ellison is on the phone to a detective when the figure on screen, supposed to be frozen in place, turns ominously towards our protagonist. If this image wasn't scary enough before, this creepy and impossible moment proved that there was more going on than just murder. Number 4, While You Were Sleeping, The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man was a surprising horror movie reboot from 2020. Nobody was expecting the film to be as absolutely terrifying as it was. Yet, the Elizabeth Moss flick managed to twist our own expectations of The Invisible Man on its head with a timely, emotionally impactful version of the story that felt more like Black Mirror than a Universal Monsters epic. The movie expertly updated the story to present day, and one of the ways they did this was with the use of mobile phones. Unlike most horror movies set today, the film utilised mobiles as a way to gaslight and unsettle the main character, Cece, more. Early on in the movie, before Cece has figured out what's going on, we see a flash go off in the bedroom where she's sleeping, causing her to wake. We forget about that until much later, when Cece discovers the lair of her tormentor inside the attic. She finds her missing architecture drawings, some keys, and a phone. And on this phone are various photographs of her sleeping. These images cause a sick feeling in your stomach as you empathize with Cece, knowing that you're at your most vulnerable when you're asleep. Number 3, the final Polaroid, Host. The movie Host came out during the height of the pandemic, and it chronicles a Zoom call gone horribly wrong. The film follows a group of friends as they attempt to do an online seance to remedy their boredom. But when one of the girls sabotages the seance for a joke, a nasty demonic spirit takes over the call to deliciously horrifying results. The spirit torments and kills the characters one by one in unique ways, and many of the kills are unbelievably extravagant considering the restraints they face during filming. The flick cranks up the scares unrelentingly, fraying the audience's nerves over and over again right up until the last moment. The moment in question sees the final 2 girls, Hayley and Gemma, attempt to locate the vicious spirit by taking Polaroid pictures of the dark void around them. Every time the flash goes off, you jump expecting to see something terrifying, as the clock in the corner of the screen counts down the Zoom call's final moments. And it's in the last second that we finally see him, launching at the camera when the final flash goes off. And although we never get to see the developed Polaroid, we can only imagine what the photograph caught. Number 2, You've Always Been Here, The Shining. The Shining is definitely one of the most well-crafted horror movies of all time. Stanley Kubrick created a masterpiece of cinema that will go down in history as a legend within the horror community. That being said, the movie has created quite a bit of debate since its release. Kubrick being the master he was, the movie is full of symbolism and is ripe with different interpretations. But this is not a list about interpreting movies, it's about scary photographs. So let's go back to the first time we ever saw The Shining. We've watched for over 2 hours as a family not only falls apart, but completely implodes. We see our main characters driven crazy by the Overlook Hotel and their own personal demons, while the starved presence that controls the building relishes in their demise. The final lingering shot of the movie is the perfect culmination of the stress, confusion and tension that you, the audience member, have felt the entire film. The shot in question is a long take of the camera zooming slowly towards a wall of vintage photographs with the distinct lounge music swelling in the background. The final image shows a group of partiers from 1921, where front and centre, Jack Torrance somehow stands grinning from ear to ear. Number 1, Closer and Closer Every Time, Insidious. After first watching Insidious, many may have refused to let anyone take a photo of them for over a year, and this scene is the reason why. Our main couple have come to wit's end when their son falls into a coma and their new house seemingly starts to get overrun by spirits. The father, Josh, calls his mother Lorraine, who proceeds to call a team of paranormal investigators led by the psychic Elise. Together, Elise and Lorraine explain that both Josh and his son, Dalton, have the ability to astral project, and that because of this, evil souls from the spirit world seek to possess their empty bodies. Now, if that's not enough of a bombshell, Lorraine tells a terrifying story. When Josh was a boy, a leech of a spirit attempted to take over his body, and equipped with photographs, Lorraine finally solidifies what the couple had been fearing most. The photos show Josh as a kid, and in the background is a spooky bride ghost that continues to get closer to Josh in each picture. It's an absolutely chilling reveal, and if it doesn't put you off of Instagram for a while, I honestly don't know what will.